right, Mr. Lee Teat, Friday main event coming at you Thursday night. I guess it's our new night, isn't it, Lee?
It has been.
Have we declared that officially?
I don't know, have we?
It's worked out pretty good. We've actually got more viewers that have watched the last 3 or 4 weeks since we've been doing this. I think we kind of fill that void. There's some prep shows. I know I was on a show last night out of Winchester.
Did a good job on that, too.
Appreciate that. Will Rabb, he does a great job over there. Him and Dennis Weaver, of course, Friday Night Thunder. I was on with those guys last night. I think there's actually a prep show on 104.5 on Wednesday, correct?
That's correct.
Our buddy Donovan, I think he's a part of that. And Withrow in on that?
I don't know if he's in on that. I know he's obviously the Friday night show.
Yeah. But, I mean, there's a lot of prep stuff going on Wednesday.
Correct.
And obviously the games are on Friday. So we're kind of that we're tying them all together. We're that missing link. I've been referred to as a missing link before, so that makes sense.
I don't know if I'd have told that. But another thing, too, Mike, is I think that on Thursdays, typically your coaches are doing walkthroughs.
Yeah.
They don't have as strenuous
shorter
of a practice, so they can get on with us. It makes them a little more available, too. So that's a good thing.
That's true. Lee, we got a lot of big games we can discuss tonight. I didn't want to get real detailed into every particular quad and every game because there's like nobody's going to beat Oakland in the first round this year. There's really not a point in discussing those type of games. So we went in and we kind of picked out the games, that we feel will be, in question there in the fourth quarter.
Yep. And I'll tell you something else, too. Congrats to all the teams that made the playoffs.
Right.
It's a hard thing to do in most quads. Sometimes we fuss about, very few wins getting in. But for the most part, I think these kids play hard and try to get into the playoffs. And to the teams that got there, congratulations.
Yeah. It's kind of a reward for working hard all year. And not only all year, but during that preseason and those spring camps, all that stuff has come to fruition, and you're getting rewarded for all that work you put in the spring right now.
That's correct.
To the coaches as well. So congrats to all those guys. Well, Lee, are you ready to start talking about some high school football?
I'm ready.
All right, brother. Well, let's get things started over, I think, Quad 2 6A. There's a few games that we were I think the Riverdale-Hendersonville game, Lee, was one that was kind of intriguing to me. I think Riverdale has played better in the second half, despite the 41-0 loss to Blackman. Blackman is really
level.
They're really good, really good. And Hendersonville, Coach James Beasley, he's done a really good job over there. They did lose the region title to Trey Perry's Mount Juliet squad last week, 28-13. I think you got to favor Hendersonville at home in this one. Would you agree?
I do, and I tell you what, man, I'd like to see Region 4, show up in the first round this year. They had a little rough go last year in the first round. I do. I think James Beasley gets it done tomorrow night. I probably a little closer than some people. I think most people have Hendersonville favored. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think no doubt. I agree with you, and that's one reason why we just put this game out there is, if you'll remember last year, Lee, Riverdale played the spoiler role with the undefeated Mount Juliet team coming in 10-0. Riverdale knocked him out in the first round. Can Will Kreisky duplicate what he did last year?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think a little different team that Coach Kreisky has, too, versus last year.
He don't have a Mr. Football running.
That's correct. So I think Hendersonville gets it done, but I don't think this game is going to be nearly as big a margin of victory as some think.
And the winner of this game, as you can see by the bracket there, we get the Oakland-Rossview winner. Rossview, unfortunately, is going to be the Region 4 sacrificial lamb we've been talking about all year because this Oakland team is rolling, man. Coach Creasy's team is we've said it several times all year, Lee. We had them preseason number 1. I haven't seen anything to change my mind as far as the Patriots go.
I haven't either. Especially with Maryville having to come this way if they get through.
Right, exactly. That's a big advantage right there. As we know, the home team has won, I think, every game the last 3 years in that matchup. So that's a big advantage, I think, for the Oakland Patriots. So we both like Hendersonville Commandos.
Going with the Commandos.
I think it's closer than what your average fan thinks it will be, but I still think it's probably a 10-point Commando win. You agree with that?
Yes, sir.
All right. Lebanon and Blackman Lee was another game in this quad. I want to talk about it while we had this quad pulled up. Your buddy Chuck Gentry having a good year over there at Lebanon.
Yeah, shout out to Chuck. Great job this year. 8-2. Ross Few score was a little deceptive. You know, quarterback got a little nicked there. He's fine. He's going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
I think they more so in the second half held him out for precautionary reasons.
Right.
Just to keep him healthy. So that score is a little misleading. I think they were probably, probably another touchdown or two better.
Right.
But they're going to Blackman, and we just talked about the Blaze have a ton of athletes.
Boy, they're rolling, ain't they?
They are. They smoked Riverdale, and the only loss is to a team we just talked about, the Oakland Patriots.
Right.
Buddy, I like Blackman in this ball game, but I tell you what, I think Lebanon's defense can play 3 quarters.
You're going to that game, right?
I'm gonna go to the game. I'm gonna go watch. I think Lebanon's defensively is good.
Well, you got Logue, he's committed to Georgia, is that right?
That's right.
I mean, anytime you got a guy that's going to take up 2 blockers every play, you're going to get some opportunities on the defensive side of the ball.
That's right. And Grayson Gregory, their nose guard, he's a stout son of a gun too. So I think they pose a little bit of a problem defensively, maybe up front for Blackman's offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Blackman's is too athletic.
I agree. I think Trey Knox having a great year. The only thing I'm concerned about is Blackman. I think they are starting a young quarterback, if I remember right, Lee, sophomore. Despite the fact he's played really well this year, postseason's a whole different animal.
That's right. And he put up big numbers last week against Riverdale too. So.
Yeah. I like Blackman also. I'm going to go with you on that. Lee, there's another game in this quad, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. You do have an undefeated Mount Juliet team, but they've got to get that stigma off of them tomorrow night. That loss to Riverdale, they caught a lot of flack over that last year, and I think Trey Perry and his squad, we talked to him a couple of weeks ago, Lee, I think they're very anxious to prove, I think, to everybody else that they're legit this year, and I do believe they are.
I think so. He made that a point of emphasis, I think, coming into the season. And also, man, in years past, we talked about that with Coach Perry. The region that Mount Juliet was in was not that great. They got a lot tougher this year.
They did, and they're more battle-tested.
They're more battle-tested coming into that first round, so I think they're ready. I think they get Cookville.
Yeah, I think so, too. But, like we said, looking at that quad, I like Hendersonville. I like Oakland. I think that's going to be a good second-round matchup. I think it's going to be a good test for Oakland early. They didn't really have that last year.
I like Oakland out of this quad, obviously.
I do too.
That will be a good matchup.
Yeah, and then we're looking, based on what we just said, Blackman and Mount Juliet, that could potentially be a really good second-round game as well.
Now, that would be one to go watch.
Yeah, I think so. With me.
Mount Juliet's got a lot of athletes.
And that will be at Mount Juliet. So
yeah. That'd be a good one to go see.
And should they win that one, Oakland would have to travel to Mount Juliet in the third round.
That's correct.
That will be the only time that Oakland potentially is going to have to give up home field in the postseason because, of course, the Quad 1 winner would have to travel to Quad 2 winner, and provided you and I are correct, and that's Oakland, then they would be at home. So they potentially could be home 2 rounds at Mount Juliet, and then back home for the semifinal.
That's correct.
And, of course, that's if Mount Juliet can beat Blackman, and that's possible. I would right now, Lee, I'd probably have to pick Blackman in that matchup. I think Blackman's got probably more athletes.
Well, we'll see if Lebanon can expose them.
I'm talking about next week. We don't need to be picking that game anyway, do we?
No. But if Lebanon exposes Blackman a little bit, that might change our.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point. And Coach Gentry's got the ability to do that. I think
right.
If they've
he played Mount Juliet to 4 points.
He did. That's right.
And Hendersonville.
Yes, I was going to say the same thing. Yeah. So interesting right there. Well, Lee, Quad 3 and 6A. There's some big games there as well. One game I think I'm probably going to go to is Independence at Smyrna. I think Scott Blade, of course, they did drop the region title game to Ravenwood. I say region title game. If they had won, they would have won the region title. But by losing to Ravenwood, they gave the region title to Brentwood, 37-21. And I think I saw part of that game, Lee. It was the UPN 30 game of the week last week. Ravenwood, I think, jumped up really big, and then I think Independence scored a couple of late TDs to make the score look a little bit better than what it was. But that was total domination by Ravenwood.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised by that too. I didn't think Ravenwood would dominate them that early.
Right.
You know, but that says a lot for Ravenwood's program. Who do you like in this ball game, Mike?
Well, I was afraid you was going to ask me that, Lee. I think most people would pick Independence based on how they played the second half of the season. They actually played the second half of the season really well up until Friday. But this Smyrna team, I'm intrigued. I mean, the defense is really good, you know, and then they've got Blake Watkins, I think, is as good as anybody as far as coming out of the backfield. I think Bannister's done well at quarterback. I think I'm going to go Bulldogs. They're at home. They lost this game by 1 point last year, Lee. This is a rematch of the first round game last year in Quad 3. And I think the Bulldogs pull out a very, very close game. I think this one could potentially even go to overtime. That's how close I think it'll be.
Really?
Yep.
Well, I know, in my opinion, you know, Smyrna lost to CPA, Cane Ridge, and Blackman.
Mm-hmm. That's three pretty darn good
games. Undefeated, and a one-loss team.
Yeah.
Buddy, I think I'm going to go with the Smyrna Bulldogs,
too. With them also? You know we're having Scott Blade on later, don't you?
I know it. He's going to get on me.
I hope he ain't watching this.
He's going to get on me.
Hope he ain't watching this. Yeah, we've got a great coaching lineup. We didn't even mention that, Lee. We've got 4 great coaches. We've got Joe Gaddis is going to be on with us at 7 o'clock. So if you guys are watching this, make sure you're here at 7 o'clock. Oak Ridge Coach Joe Gaddis. We've got Floyd Walker, Eagleville's head coach. He'll be on at 7:15. And then, as we mentioned, Scott Blade will be on with us at 7:30. And then at 7:45, first timer on the Friday main event, Coach Houston Thiele will be joining us, Creekwood. And what a great job he's done there this season. Getting back to the game, Lee, we're both going Smyrna. Is that correct? That's a tough game to pick.
Boy, it is, because Coach Blade does a good job in the playoffs.
Yeah, and T.J. Sheffield has done really well, and they've got another – I can't remember the kid. I know he's not he's like 5'7", but he's got almost practically identical numbers to Sheffield this year. So, I don't know, man. Cisco – of course, he lost his starting job there, and Ethan Cash has been starting the last 2 or 3 weeks. I think Cisco's been playing in every game, so that's one game. That's one question I'm going to ask Coach Blade. You know, who gets to start tomorrow? I think Cisco came in mop-up role last week and put up some crazy good numbers, but you know that's probably Ravenwood's second team D he was doing it against. So don't read too much into that.
That's right.
All right, Lee. Well, I'm going to go Smyrna, brother, but I think that's going to be a really good game. Another game there in that quad, big game, I think, Cane Ridge and Franklin. Most people are thinking, well, Franklin's 6-4, finished 4C. But Donnie Webb has got a really good team. And I like what the Rebels have done. They beat Dixon County 24-7, won 4 of the last 5 games over that stretch. Cane Ridge walking this one? What do you think?
No, they don't walk. I think they win the ball game.
Yeah.
But I don't think they walk. I think Donnie Webb's team's playing tough right now. Like you said, he's 4 out of their last 5 with a loss to Oakland.
Yeah.
In there. I'm gonna go Cane Ridge. Obviously, I love Coach Woods. I've been on him all. We have been on him all year. I love Devon Starling, and I think Corey Andrews has played this season has played extremely well.
Jacquez Norman, transfer from Milan.
Starling, I saw today, is semifinalist.
That's right, and he was on our list, Lee. You and I had him as a nominee for Class 6A. I like Cane Ridge also, Lee. I think Franklin maybe plays this game closer than what a lot of people think. But Cane Ridge, and Eddie Woods told us, we had him on with us a few weeks ago. He told us, don't read too much into our scores. I don't really care if we're beating the pants off of teams. I'm building depth for postseason. He told us that.
Exactly right.
So people are going to look at their prime example, 35-20 over Ray County. They're much better than Ray County. Ray County put up 20 points, but they put those points up on their second team. And that's what's happened all year. So you're looking at Cane Ridge's, margin of victory, and you're not going to be impressed. Lee, you can look up and down the board.
That's right.
You're not going to be impressed. But that's what most people don't realize. And you and I didn't realize that. And we addressed that with Coach Eddie Woods. He's putting his second and third team in when some coaches would consider the game still in question.
Well, he specifically said, I'm putting them in a pressure situation.
Right.
To see how they respond.
Right.
Which that tells you a lot about what he thinks about his starters.
Right. He knows that they can
get out of it.
That's right.
And I like that.
I do too.
I actually do. I shout out to Coach Woods for challenging his coaching staff to put these younger players in some pressure situations throughout the season. So we get into the playoffs. Guy goes down, we're ready to roll.
Who you like coming out of this quad, Lee? Obviously, we both like Cane Ridge here in this game.
I like Cane Ridge out of the quad.
You like Cane Ridge out of the quad?
I sure do.
And you're remembering that Brentwood's in this quad.
Yes, I am. And that was a 17-14 ball game, I believe.
It was.
But there again.
And you're remembering Ravenwood's in this quad.
Yes.
Playing good ball.
But
I'm making sure you're remembering all this.
I like Cane Ridge.
I like Cane Ridge too.
Best 1-2 punch probably in the state.
It is, man. And what I like about him is, like you said, Corey Andrews, if you key in too much on that run game, he does have the ability. They got that sophomore receiver.
Correct.
What's his name, Lee? Help me out.
You got it on your
Quentin Barnes, is that it?
Quentin Barnes.
Is that correct? I may not be right. I'm not sure, Lee. Yeah.
Yes, Quentin Barnes.
Quentin Barnes. I thought that's who it was.
Right.
Yeah, he's got the ability to hit Quentin Barnes. And Quentin Barnes is the real deal, man. Like I said, he's only a sophomore. Already got offers. So that's why they're so dangerous. You shut that run down game, you're going to have to load the box. You're going to have to load the box to shut that run game down.
Well, and another thing, too, is Starling can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's a complete back. He's a complete back.
So can Norm. I mean, they have no weaknesses, Lee. Have no weaknesses. And people look at their scores, as we mentioned, they think the defense is a weakness. It's not. No. It's not with the ones in. All right, Lee, we like Cane Ridge out of that quad.
I do.
Win this game and out of the quad. Lee, a game that I think is really going to be interesting. We're going to have to step it up, brother. We're going too slow. Eagleville and Decatur County Riverside over in 2A. I think that particular game right there is probably the best game. I think the best first-round matchup, maybe in all of Class 2A, definitely in this quad. Who do you like in that game?
Well, buddy, I've been on Stone Frost and Coach Johnny Frost all year. I like how the kid plays football. He was a finalist, Mr. Football semifinalist last year, I believe.
I think he was.
And I've been picking Decatur County all year, and I'm going to stay with it. I'm going to go Riverside Panthers. Probably a two-score game.
63-20, they beat East Hickman last week. Eagleville 42-7, and we got Floyd Walker.
That's correct.
He's going to be on with us tonight. That's tough because that's a pretty good drive, man, from Eagleville to Decatur County Riverside. I don't know, Lee. I've been trying to figure this one out all week, brother. I'm kind of tempted to go Eagleville. Eagleville's they've played good ball. They lost close games to Lewis County. They lost to Columbia Academy, but I think they also lost to Cornersville, if I remember correctly. I don't have that on our
That's correct.
On our stats here, but man, I'm really tempted. I tell you what, I'm going to do it. I'm going Eagleville.
You're going Eagleville.
I'm going Eagleville. Did you hear that, Floyd Walker? I picked Eagleville. He picked against you. So when we have you on later,
if it was home, I'd probably be a little different. But that's a long haul. But
it is, Lee. It is. But yeah, I'm going to go with Eagleville. I think that game's going to be close. Lee, let's move on down to Class 1A in Quad 3. There's a couple of good games in that quad, and I think we need to start things with Huntland and Wayne County. If you look at Wayne County, they've done really well of late, Lee. They've got on a roll. They beat Collinwood, which is a big arch rival for them, 34-0 last week. 6-4, 5-1 in region play, and of course, Coach Robertson's team beat Richland last week. I thought if Moore County could have helped them out, they would have been at home this week. But Moore County lost to Coach Bradley's Mount Pleasant team. And I don't know. The game in that region has confused me as much as anything, as they lost to Grace Christian. I know Coach Bradley said he's going to be watching. I need to find out from him what happened in that. And that's the game that had me so puzzled. And I actually picked him to lose against Moore County based on those results. So I'm sure there's something that happened there that we don't know about.
Right.
But that game right there is what just threw me in a tailspin. I didn't know what the heck was going on in that particular Region 5. But at any rate, Huntland got a tough game here with Wayne County.
Absolutely do. Rick Rice has been around forever. What has he got, 320-something ball games under his belt?
Yeah.
And like you said, they've been playing good. It went 5-1 in region play. And it's at Wayne County. And I know, man, in the playoffs, in the first round, that home field advantage is big.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Wayne County.
I'm going to go Wayne County too, and boy, Kermit Reed's going to give me HELL here on Facebook, but it's just the fact of the thing is that Wayne County's at home, and Huntland's got a pretty good drive over to get to Wayne County, and Wayne County's playing really good ball right now, so.
That's a hard place to play,
It's a tough place to play. I mean, there's a lot of tradition over at Wayne County, and they always play well in the postseason. So I'm agreeing with you, Lee. I think I'm going to go Wayne County also in that one. Gibson County is another team that's in Class 2A over in Quad 4, Lee. I think that game could be interesting. And we're looking at, of course, they've got Fairley, and I've kind of been on Fairley all year. I think Fairley has a chance to make some noise here in the playoffs. And the reason why I say that, Gene Robertson coached under our buddy Rodney Salisbury there at Whitehaven, so we know that he knows how to win ball games. They beat Douglas 60-12 last week, and you look at their losses, Lee. They've lost 2 games. Look at who they lost to. A couple of darn 6A teams,
That's
Memphis
right.
Central and Whitehaven. That's I think that team may be a sleeper in 2A. You're not hearing anybody talk about Fairley at all, but yeah, I like them, man. What do you think about this game?
I was looking at that earlier today. You know, Gibson County had an upset win back in the first half of the year. We couldn't figure out. I was kind of shocked.
Peabody, wasn't it?
Peabody,
yeah.
Which I've been on them all year.
Right.
I was kind of shocked by that. So that lets me know they can play some football.
Right.
I don't know what all went down in that ball game, but.
And they beat a good McKenzie team last week, Lee.
That's correct.
Knocked Union City off the week before.
So they're playing good football.
They are.
But I like Fairleigh High Bulldogs. And I tell you what, I think they go into this ball game, Mike, and maybe win by 14 plus.
I didn't talk you into that pick, did I?
No.
Was you already going that way?
Yep.
I'll try not to influence your decisions too much. But I was kind of coming out heavy on Fairleigh. I didn't want to.
No.
If you was thinking Gibson, I didn't want you to.
I was thinking Fairleigh, and for the same reason, ironically, that both our losses are to 6A clubs, and they played with them.
Yeah, that's right. So we're both going Fairleigh in that one. Another game, Lee, in that quad, you got Trinity Christian playing Mitchell, and I don't really, I'm not 100% sure which way I'm going to lean in that one, man. I'm kind of leaning toward Mitchell. Oddly enough, I thought Region 8 wasn't quite as strong as Region 7, but the way Region 7 has beat each other up. Yes. And then Mitchell, that's another situation where they're playing bigger schools. They lost to Southwind, they lost to Fairleigh, and then they lost to Memphis Central also. So they're playing bigger schools also. 44-8 over Hamilton last week. Trinity Christian, Lee, fell to Lake County, 45-16, a good 1A squad. Who you like in this one?
Mitchell.
You like Mitchell also?
Mitchell Tigers. The reason I like them, man, is I say it all the time. In the playoffs, is speed kills.
Yeah.
Well, Trinity Christian's losses are to Peabody and Lake County, and those two teams are pretty fast.
Yeah.
Are athletic and got a lot of speed, and I think Mitchell's going to be as athletic and probably faster.
I agree.
So I'm going to go with Mitchell.
Going with Mitchell. Well, I'm going with Mitchell, too. We're not making this very exciting, are we, Lee?
Well, it's the first round. We'll get into the second and the third and the fourth. We'll be butting heads on that one.
Well, I was going to say, these games, I thought I had it set up to where we'd be picking opposite each other,
but these games are all good matchups.
Yeah, they are.
They are.
They are. Moving on down, Lee, another 1A quad of interest is Quad 1. There's a couple of games in Quad 1 I think that could be interesting. Of course, Greenback, we expect to dominate that quad, but I think that Midway-Cloudland matchup in the first round tomorrow night may be as good as any matchup in the entire state in that class. How do you feel about that game?
I don't think it's going to be that close of a ball game, Mike.
Really?
No, I think Cloudland runs away with it.
You think so?
Yeah, I do.
I think they win the game also. They did lose to Johnson County. They lost to GP, but both of those are Class 3A teams.
Correct.
Against a 1A team. So, you don't want to read too much into those losses. At 8-2, 3-0, they were the only Region 1 team to win a playoff game last year. And in all likelihood, you're exactly right. I think that's the way it's going to work out this year. That Oliver Springs Midway game last week turned out to be pretty good, 33-20. You and I had Oliver Springs. That's right. I think the fact that Midway had so many veteran players, returning starters, we kind of got caught up in the hype. But at 7-3, they've had a good year.
That's right.
Had a good year.
Hey, they got a chance to win this ball.
They got a chance to win this game. I think so, too.
I just think Cloudland's got a little bit tougher opponents across the board schedule right now, especially in strength competition.
Out of region. They're in a weak region, but they're out of region. It's been pretty good.
So I'm gonna stay with the Cloudland Highlanders.
I'm gonna agree with you. Mike Lunsford there in his second stint. The guy's won 224 games, so obviously he knows how to coach, Lee. I agree with you. I'm gonna go with them as well. Let's jump on down, Lee. We'll go to a region that most of the folks in Middle Tennessee
that's right.
and our listening audience, I think, is more familiar with, and that's Region 4 and Region 3. They're in Quad 2 of Class 4A, and the game we'll start out with is Marshall County against Stone Memorial, and that game right there, Lee, could be interesting. I know it's a 1 versus a 4.
Well, buddy,
I'm
going to go ahead and tell you right now, Marshall County wins that ball game.
Wow. Just right out the gate, brother.
Boom.
Well.
They lost to Tullahoma, Maplewood, Nolensville, and Cane Ridge.
Right.
Stone Memorial ain't played anybody that could hang with any of them.
Okay. And
so you're
not impressed.
I'm sorry, Coach Samber. Hey, 91.
And
awesome.
He coached with your buddy, right?
He was OC
Jimmy
there for one or 2 years.
Yeah.
That's correct. But listen, Marshall County has played a brutal schedule of competition.
They have.
And Coach Osteen played Nolensville tight.
They did.
Went to overtime with Cane Ridge without a true quarterback.
Right.
I think they go to Stone Memorial tomorrow night and squeak out of there with a late score in the fourth quarter to win that ball game.
So I'm assuming with you predicting the 4-1 win, you're predicting a second consecutive year of Region 4 sweeps here.
Not so fast.
Come on, Lee D.
I think Macon County might be able to play with Nolensville.
You think so?
Maybe.
So you're thinking Coach Shoulders might get an upset here?
I don't know if it'll be.
Well, I don't guess it'd be an upset based on seedings, but I think
I'm not going to pick them just yet. But it's going to be. I would lean towards Nolensville, but would not surprise me one bit if Macon County wins that ball game.
Well,
because I like Coach Shoulders, and I think he got his team going at the right time too.
Okay, well, I can see that. The game that I'm more concerned about is the one we're talking about as far as Region 4. I think Region 4 wins. I think Tullahoma wins. I think Nolensville wins.
And Maplewood.
I think Maplewood just drum.
Oh, Lord.
Cab County. That
yeah.
game's going to be ugly. I think I think this Marshall County Stone Memorial game is going to be a good one, Lee.
It is going to be a good one.
No, it ain't, because you was like, oh, no.
It's going to be a good game.
Like, you didn't even give me a chance to talk about it. Marshall County's going to win that game. What are you saying you think is going to be a good game? You didn't even give me a chance to say anything about it.
It's going to be a good game, but Marshall County wins it. I'm telling you.
So how was you so sure? You just
I just know
right out there, man.
I know they're going to win.
He was right out there,
They're
Marshall County.
They're going to win it.
So, but you think it's going to be a close game?
Fourth quarter. Late score.
Well, you said it. Marshall County's playing good ball now, and I think the fact that they don't have, a true quarterback. They did play with Nolensville, but I think Nolensville may be struggling a little bit right now. And you just said Macon County may knock them off. I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to go Stone Memorial because, they beat William Blount a 6-18, 27-0 last week. They're playing good ball right now. I'm going to go Stone Memorial. And I'm the biggest Thomas Osteen fan out there. You know
right.
that. You know that. It's not got anything to do with it, but he did lose Bryce Wallace late in the preseason, man, and that's tough. That's really tough when you lose a 3-year starter at quarterback. And I don't think they've ever fully recovered from that situation. And some of them Marshall County folks ain't gonna like that pick, Lee. We've got Marshall County folks that watch this show, so I'm gonna go Stone Memorial. I think it's gonna be a good game. That may be one of the best. That probably will be the best 4A game.
Be a good one to go see.
Be a good one to go see.
Don't let that record fool you.
Oh well, yeah, I agree. I'm not. It could go either way, brother. I'm not saying go bet you. Bet
you ain't coming out of the gate
like
paycheck.
I did. Yeah, don't bet your paycheck on Stone Memorial. I think it could go either way. At least Gallatin and Shelbyville, Class 5A, I think Shelbyville's looking pretty good, brother. What do you think about that one?
I like Shelbyville. I think Arius Trice is for real. Obviously, Grayson Trammell is at I think he's another semifinalist.
Yeah.
This year in the Mr. Football.
He is.
And deservedly so.
And he was on our list.
And, we've talked about it all year. I think this year, as versus years past, Shelbyville has the ability to run the football.
Yeah.
You have to be able to run the football in the playoffs.
Yeah. Marsh has done a really good
job. So I'm going to go Shelbyville in this ball game.
And their defenses look well, Lee. That game against Page that I went to, went to overtime. I think it was, I want to say it was 17-all, 14-all. I don't remember. I don't have it in front of me.
Came down to a couple of missed field goals there.
It did, and it came down to 4 Shelbyville turnovers, essentially. That's what got them beat. I like Shelbyville in this game. I think Mark Williams' Green Wave squad started out pretty solid first half of the year. They knocked off Hillsboro, but then they got beat pretty soundly by Mount Juliet. They did lose to Springfield Station Camp, lost to Hendersonville, and also lost to Beach. So at 5-5, they won the games they need to win. They were 4-1 in the region, so they did well in region play. But I like Shelbyville. I think they win pretty handily in this one. What do you think about that?
I think they put up a lot of yards.
A lot of yards, a lot of points.
Yeah.
All right. One other game in this quad, Lee, that I think kind of has drawn a little interest in my opinion, and that's Summit and Beach. I don't have a real good feel. I think I'm leaning toward Beach. Who do you like in this one?
I'm leaning towards Beach, but I tell you what about this ball game, man. If the kickoff is at 7, the game will be over by 8:30.
A lot of running, huh?
They're not going to throw the football.
Yeah.
Neither team.
Right.
And the clock's going to run. But I like Beach. But to Coach Crabtree's standard, and probably most people who follow Beach football, they probably played down a little bit this year.
Yeah.
Compared to what they have done in the past, but. Hey, he's played some tough competition.
Well, he's coming off of that title appearance, Lee, and he lost a whole lot of seniors.
That's correct.
And I think he spent the majority of this season trying to find who's going to lead that offense, and I think he's finally settled in on a starting quarterback. But 34-28 against Hillwood last week. I mean, I would have thought they'd won that game.
I did too.
By a lot more than that. They did lose to Hendersonville, Henry County, and Hillsboro. That was the 3 losses.
I'm going to go Beach Buccaneers, but I think this might be a little bit closer game than some think.
Brian Coleman has surprised me a couple of times already this year. We thought they would lose to Franklin County. They did get that win. Their losses were to Shelbyville, Page, Nolensville, and of course Independence we talked about earlier. So he doesn't have a bad loss.
No,
all the teams he lost to are solid programs.
That's right.
I'm gonna go with you just from the experience standpoint. Coach Crabtree has got a lot, and we love Coach Coleman, but Coach Crabtree has got a lot more postseason experience. And both teams are young.
That's right, but those kids last year, we talked about this before too, and now that we're getting into playoffs, we can touch on it even more. These teams that make deep runs in the playoffs, those kids they're getting an extra 4 to 5 weeks of football every year.
Right.
So Beach's kids, man, they've been deep the last 2 or 3 years.
So their sophomores are more like juniors now.
That's correct, because they've played one complete season longer than a lot of teams.
Right.
So I like that. That's why it's important, coaches, to get your teams into the playoffs and make deep runs, because it builds that. But I like the Buccaneers.
I like the Buccaneers also. I'm going to agree with you. Lee, let's go ahead and talk about Creekwood and Jackson Southside. That's a game you and I kind of hinted at the start of the show. I believe we're both leaning toward the upset here. Creekwood at 7-3, 4-1. Coach Thiele's second season there, and then Jackson Southside. They lost the region title. They come into it undefeated last week. Lost to Jackson Northside, 26-7. I kind of question the difficulty of their schedule with that 9-1 record. I think Creekwood, with Montgomery Central, Springfield, I think they may have played a little bit tougher schedule. What do you think about that?
I agree. Like I said, I think Creekwood might get this ball game, man. I don't think they blow them out, but I think they're going to win this ball game.
And the winner of this game would get the Springfield-Chester County, so a possible rematch here if Creekwood can win this game, pull off the upset.
I already told you I like out of this quad.
Montgomery, right? Yeah.
Montgomery Central.
Montgomery Central. I'm going to go Springfield. I think Coach Wilson repeat out of this quad right here. I think quad 4 may have something for them, but I think out of this particular quad, I'd like them. I think Dyersburg's playing really good there in quad 4, and then you got Haywood you're going to have to contend with also. So I like Springfield to get out of this quad, but I think quad 4 probably beats this quad in the semifinals. And they'll be hosting.
Right. That's
quad
correct.
3's got to travel to quad 4. So, but who knows? I mean, Coach Wilson's team is their season. They were there last year, so
yep.
We're going to get into that, next week's show. Not going to go too far ahead, but this game here, I agree with you. I like Creekwood to win this game in the upset. Let's see, Lee. Let's move on down. We've got Hardin County and Montgomery Central also in this quad. That's another game potentially, could go either way. Who do you like in that matchup?
Well, I like Montgomery Central.
Well, there you go. You just said you like them. That's a dumb question.
I like them coming out of that quad. I think they're going to win.
Yeah. Well, they're 9-1, and I think they only lost to Springfield by 2 points. So, I could see that, Lee. And they've got a pretty veteran squad. Hardin County at 8-2. I mean, they've also played well, 49-38 over Liberty last week. Their losses were to Jackson Northside and Jackson Southside. They're on a tear, man. They've won 5 in a row. I'm going to go with you. I'm going to agree with you. Montgomery Central at home. I think I give them an edge, but I think this game's going to be a little closer than you think it's going to be.
Yeah, I don't see it being that close at all.
You don't think so?
All right. I think Region 5 is top to bottom. That's pretty tough.
Yeah, I agree. All right. So we both like Montgomery Central, McNary Central, Raleigh Egypt. You got a couple of Class 3A teams in Quad 4. I think that's potentially a good game, Lee. You got any Any leaning in that one? Either one of those teams you like?
You talking about this Montgomery or McNary Raleigh Egypt matchup?
Yeah.
I like Raleigh Egypt.
You like Raleigh Egypt. New head coach Larry Franklin takes over there. 7-3, 4-1 in region play. 38-12 winner over Tresvant last week versus McNary Central 8-2, 3-2 in region play. They lost to Milan. They lost to Covington. They did beat a pretty good South Gibson
That's
team. 41-0 winner over Westview last week.
Who you going with?
I don't know, man. That's one of them I wasn't real sure about, to be honest with you, Lee. Raleigh's got 10 starters back off of that 12-1 team from last year. I guess you just about got to pick them, don't you? How did you lose 3 games? They lost to Wooddale. They lost to Mitchell was probably the surprise to me. They did lose to Mitchell.
Yeah, I didn't understand that one either.
Yeah, it's a 2A team, and Raleigh Egypt is a veteran 3A team, which kind of tells you maybe Mitchell's a whole lot better than what.
Right.
That might be another one of those sleepers there in 2A, and we talked about that a little bit earlier.
Sometimes the West in the regular season is tough, though, for me to gauge.
It is. Because they're playing, I think there's such a scarce amount of teams over there. They're playing so far up out of their classification.
Right.
It's hard. You don't want to read too much into those overall records because, prime example, Fairley's only 2 losses were to 2 6A teams. And you don't see any 2A teams over here in the mid-state playing 6A teams.
That's right. So I'm going to go Raleigh Egypt, Pharaohs.
All right, I'm going to go with you. I don't have a real good feel either way on that one, just to be totally honest with you. Lee, we got to step it up, brother. We are getting way behind. Memphis Central and Cordova is another game we was going to discuss. That may be the best game there in that quad 4, I think. You got a good feel on that one either way?
No, not really. I'll tell you, buddy.
Two new coaches and new programs. Of course, Major Wright comes over from that Raleigh Egypt program we were talking about, leading Memphis Central now, 7-2. Their only 2 losses was region White Station and Whitehaven opponents. Whitehaven and Germantown opponents. Correct. They actually beat White Station to take that 3rd spot, and then Cordova 7-3. They lost to Whitehaven, also lost to Houston. Houston's a
really good team.
Really good team, and they did lose to Pearl Cone over here in the mid-state.
Right. I'm going to go Memphis Central.
Memphis Central.
I am.
I like Major Wright, but, Marcus Wimberly, of course, he's won state titles there at Memphis East. He's now leading that Cordova program.
Correct.
So I don't think there's much of a coaching advantage either way.
Toss up,
yeah, I think so.
Who you going with?
I don't have a clue. I'm going to go with you. I'm going to go Memphis Central. I think that game could probably go either way, Lee, but I'm going to go with you. I'm going to go Memphis Central. That's going to be an interesting quad right there, I think.
Yeah.
I think last year Region 8 pretty much dominated that quad with Germantown and I think, if I remember right, wasn't it White Station and Whitehaven matched up in the quarters?
Because White Station beat Germantown and upset them.
Right. I don't think it happens this year.
No.
I think Germantown's stout. I like Germantown.
Got a good shot.
I like them coming out of that quad, Lee. And I'm a Salisbury man. I like Coach Salisbury, but I like Germantown coming out of that quad.
They may represent.
Yeah. Gatlinburg Pittman, our buddy Derek Ring, plays Johnson County. This is a very intriguing Class 3A match in Quad 2. Lee T, who do you like in this one, man?
I asked you about that today, I think.
Quad 1, I'm sorry.
About this Johnson County GP matchup. GP's played the tougher schedule.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that. And they've lost the last 3 games. They lost to Alcoa, Austin East, and
they lost to Oneida.
The one that got me was the loss to Kingston last week. I just screwed my predictions up.
But Johnson County lost to Hampton week 2.
Yeah.
2A, which finished 5-5.
Yeah. So where do you go?
Wow.
Johnson County's bit my butt every time I've picked against them, man. And I thought they would lose to Cloudland, and I thought they would lose to Unicoi County.
I'm going GP. Derek Ring. I'm going to go GP with Derek.
I want to pick them too. I really, really do. I want to pick them, but that darn Johnson County has got me every time.
Like York does me.
Yeah, exactly. The same darn thing. Who was it last year that got you every? Was it Southwind? I want to say it was one of them Memphis teams. Tore you up last year.
Killed me all through the playoffs.
I'll go GP also. Don't have a real firm feel on that one either way. I'll go GP. I think I may miss that one. I'm gonna go with it anyway. Lookout Valley and Joe Burns, Lee Teat, Tom Atkins' team played well of late, 37-0 over Pickett County. They did lose to Gordonsville, Westmoreland, Huntland, and East Robertson. That really bit them. They can't stand losing East Robertson.
That's correct.
That's a county rivalry.
That's
right. 5-1 in region play. Lookout Valley 5-4, 2-2. I like the Red Devils at home. The Dungeon's going to be rocking tomorrow night.
I agree. Red Devils.
Red Devils.
No problems.
No problems. Don't worry, be happy. Huh?
That's right.
All right, Lee, let's look at York, your favorite team to pick, 4. You usually pick them, they lose, versus Signal Mountain. I put this game on here just for you, brother, because I know you like to pick York games. 42-10 over Cannon County last week. Signal Mountain 42-0 over Sweetwater. I think Sweetwater's coach resigned.
It is.
I think I saw that this week. Coach Roberts, in his second year, stepped down from that position. 6-4, 4-1. Does that? No, that's not right. Sweetwater. I'm sorry. I'm getting myself all confused here. Sweetwater's coach resigned.
That's right.
Josh Roberts at Signal Mountain did not resign. This smacked me, man. I get myself confused every now and then.
It's all good.
6-4, up from 4-7 last year. Signal's had a lot better season than the Eagles have. Who do you like in this one, Lee?
Signal Mountain.
You're not going to pick York?
No.
Derwin Wright's squad lost to Upperman and lost to Quatchie County. 2 really good teams.
Signal Mountain beat Saudi Daisy and McMinn Central.
That's a good point. Saudi Daisy is the Class 5A region champs with a win over Knox Catholic.
They started off 0-4.
So, yeah, that's a good point, Lee.
I'm going Signal Mountain. I don't want to. I want to pick York, but every time I do, I get beat.
No, you talked me into it. I'm going to go Signal Mountain. That Saudi Daisy win was big, and then McMinn Central, another larger school. I'm going to go with you. I'm going to go Signal Mountain also.
Well, look, Red Bank, region champ. Tyner, region champ. Whitwell, region champ. That's 3 of their 4 losses.
Right. So they've lost to good teams.
To good teams, and then turn around and beat Saudi Daisy, who beat Knox Catholic.
Yep. That's a good point. You sold me, brother. I got it.
I don't know. I want to go York, but, man, I just can't do it.
Well, if we look at that quad, who you like in that quad, man?
Red Bank.
You like Red Bank? I like Upperman in that quad.
Whoa, yeah, hang on. I didn't look.
Both of them, yeah, both of them were undefeated.
That'll be the quad 2. Whoever that winner.
It'll be the quarterfinal match right there.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
Powerful on offense.
This is just going to be the sacrificial lamb for Alcoa when they get to the semifinals.
Correct,
but they get to host.
That's right.
So Alcoa's got to travel this year. They'll have to travel to, in your opinion, in my opinion, the winner of Red Bank and Upperman. And Adam Kane, man, coming over from Sequatchie to Upperman, he's done a really nice job there.
I agree. I'm gonna go. Yeah, you might be right, Mike. It'll be
and they'll be at home. If Red Bank and Upperman win out, Upperman will host.
That's right. Yeah, I may go Upperman.
I changed your mind.
Yeah.
You just didn't look far enough down, did you? Yeah, I like them. I like Upperman. I'm gonna stick to.
Wonder what happened with Red Bank only playing 9 ball games.
I think there was some bad weather over there, if I remember rightly. It was in week 1 or week 2, and there were several teams over in East Tennessee.
Didn't make it up.
They didn't make it up. Yeah, and I think that was I don't remember what game it was, but I think Red Bank had a weather forfeit. I think it was originally was a weather delay, but they never did make it up. I can't remember who it was against.
Gotcha.
I think that's what happened. There's several teams over in East Tennessee that only have 9 games on their record. All right, Mr. Teat, let's see where we're at here, brother, in the notes. Tennessee High and Saudi Daisy, we're closing down this thing, brother. We're about done. We got a couple of teams in this Class 5A Quad 1 we're going to talk about, and this being one of them. You got any firm feel either way on Tennessee and South Doyle? You like South Doyle?
Buddy, no, I don't know about this. Tennessee High has lost to a really good Boone team, Daniel Boone, Davy Crockett, and Elizabethan.
Yep.
There ain't very many schools that can beat those guys.
That's true. But you look at South Doyle, I mean,
not Central.
And Powell's played well despite the fact, they had to forfeit all those games, but they got a good team.
Yeah.
They played Fulton pretty close. So, of course, they beat South Doyle 27-13 last week. And Knox Central was a team you and I had in our preseason. I think we had them in our top 5, didn't we, Lee? And then Bearden's has played well this year. I think Bearden, I want to say he's 8-2. I'm not sure if that's right or not.
Who's the home team?
The home team is South Doyle.
I'll go South Doyle.
You're going South Doyle?
I don't know. I don't have a good feel.
I'm going South Doyle also. They played well this year. I think, matter of fact, they were if they had beaten Knox Central, they would have won. Yeah, they only got one region loss.
Correct. So, sorry, I yawned on you.
It's all right.
Long day,
I don't think you was on camera on that one. Yeah, I'm gonna put you back on camera now.
Glad y'all missed that.
So you and I both like South Doyle in that Quad 1 in Class 5A. Another interesting game, and I say I don't know how interesting it is, Lee. You got Knox Central hosting Cocke County. Cocke County 7-3, 3-3. Beat Volunteer. They lost to Daniel Moon, Davy Crockett, and they lost to Tennessee. I don't really even know. I think I just was trying to round out my schedule here because I think Knox Central walks in this game.
They won 8 in a row.
Yeah, they've won 8 in a row. I mean, that's one of the hottest teams in the state right now. If you look at them, so going from this quad, remember Knox Central as a 4 seed won this quad last year. I think as a 1 seed to win it again, Lee. What do you think?
Think they square off with Davy Crockett?
I think they square off with Davy Crockett, 10-0. Davy Crockett's not gotten a lot of respect statewide. I think a lot of teams over in East Tennessee feel that they're a contender. I'm not sold yet. I'm kind of liking Knox Central, to be honest with you. I think Bryson Rozier does a great job. Is it Rosser or Rozier? Rosser. Yeah, I knew that. I don't even know why I asked. But, they were in the state title there, what was it, 2 years ago?
That's right.
I think it was.
Man had a bowling ball running back. Remember him? Man, he was bad.
I can't remember his name. But I like Central out of this quad. Who do you like?
Yeah, I'll go Knox Central because they're physical.
All right. So, Lee, we covered most of the quads. I guess we've got a couple of minutes here. We could go ahead and look at the quads we did not cover and go ahead and predict who we think will come out of that quad. And if we're going to do this real quick, brother. So it's just throw a name out there. I like Greenback in quad 1, 1A.
Correct.
You agree?
Yes.
I like Whitwell quad 2.
Yes.
And quad 3, who do you like in quad 3?
Cornersville.
I also do.
Or Huntington.
No, it's not either or. It's who you like. This isn't Jeopardy here.
I'll go Huntington.
This isn't multiple choice.
You're going Cornersville?
I'm going Cornersville.
I'm going to go Huntington. Home.
Well, Huntington will be there next year also. Just remember that. Cornersville's losing a lot. Huntington retains a lot.
But Huntington will get them at home.
Huntington will be at home. You're right. I'm still going Cornersville.
Okay.
Good. Looking down at that quad 4 and 1A, I like Lake County to get there again.
Correct, Lake County.
All right. So we're in agreement for everything but one quad there. That's pretty good. Pretty good for me and you. Quad 2, I like Meigs County. Quad 1, to get out of that.
That's correct.
Quad 2, man, I'm probably going to go opposite you on this one because there's 3 teams in this quad. And I'm really seriously a coin flip on all 3 of them right now. But
I'm going to go Watertown.
You're going to go Watertown? I think I'm going to go, man. Man, I don't really know. Shoot.
I'm going Watertown.
I'm going to go Trousdale County. I'm going to go upset because Trousdale County's got the toughest path. They've got to go to Tyner, and then they got to come back to Watertown. Wait a minute, I'm going to go Tyner. I changed my mind. I was hung between Trousdale. Can I go the winner of Trousdale County? Can I do that?
Oh, you got to pick.
All right, I'm going to go Tyner. I'm going Tyner. I think they repeat. They're pretty good. Quad 3, Lee. I like Waverly. I've been on Waverly all year.
Yes.
I'm still on them. 7-3 Waverly. And then Quad 4, I'm going to pull a sleeper on you right here, buddy.
You're going Fairleigh?
I think I'm going to go Fairleigh.
I'm going to go Peabody.
I knew you was. That's why I'm going Fairleigh.
Yeah.
I think most people would pick Peabody at 9-1, but I don't know, man. I like Fairleigh.
Well,
that's a shocker.
If they both get there, then that's the game's
Don't
at Fairleigh.
Don't knock Union City out.
That's right.
Okay. I like the Union City Fairleigh winner. Can I do that? Hey, man, I'm trying to get a little edge here. All right, 3, Lee, and again, we got to go quick. We're running out of time. Alcoa, and I'm going Upperman.
Yeah,
Quad 2.
I'll go Upperman.
You're going Upperman. I'm going Pearl Cone in Quad 3, and I'm taking my boy, Marty Wheeler, in Covington in Quad 4.
Yes,
Covington Chargers.
Yep.
Quad 4. All right, and Quad in Class 4A, and we're flying through this because we are about out of time for this segment of the show. I'm going Green Devils, Greenville, Quad 2. I'm going to take, I may shock you here, Lee, I'm going Maplewood coming out of this quad.
I don't think, I'm thinking Maplewood.
However, I like Tullahoma, because they played with Maplewood last week, but I like Bobo Hodges being the senior quarterback in this situation.
I'm going to go Tullahoma.
You're going Tullahoma, I'm going Maplewood.
I mean, Maplewood.
I knew what you meant. I'm going Springfield. I think you like
Montgomery Central.
And then in Quad 4, I think we both like Dyersburg. All right, that's 4A. And then we're looking at 5A. 5A, I'm going Knox Central. And in Quad 2, I'm going Fulton. I've had Fulton number 1 all year. I'm staying with them.
Go Fulton.
Quad 3. Hey, this is a good one. Who do you like out of this quad? This is a tough one.
Buddy, I'm going to go Shelbyville.
Shelbyville Golden Eagles. I like it. I hope you're right, but I'm going to go Hillsboro. I'm pulling for you. I'm pulling for Shelbyville. I like Coach Palmer. I think he does a good job over there. I like Henry County in Quad 4, but I like Kirby too.
I'm going to go Henry County just out of tradition.
I'm going to
Kirby's got that Louisville commit, right?
Yeah, I like Kirby. I like Kirby a lot. I like him a whole lot. Just to be opposite of you, I'm going to go Kirby. I think you're probably going to get this one. I'm going to go Kirby. And then quickly, Lee, in 6A. 6A, Farragut, I think, is going to get to the quarterfinals against Maryville, and obviously I'm taking Maryville.
Yep, Maryville.
And Quad 2, I love the Patriots.
Oakland Patriots.
In Quad 3, I like Cane Ridge.
Going Cane Ridge.
And in Quad 4, I'm going Germantown.
That's going to be, it might be a Germantown-Houston matchup.
It could be a rematch.
Yep. So I like Germantown too.
All right. So that's our picks as of first round, pre-first round. If we get any teams knocked out, we reserve the right to repick, right?
Well, of course.
So that'll do it for our game coverage. We're going to jump right into our coaches' interviews, Lee. Let's go ahead and take a quick break right here, and we'll get our first coach, Coach Joe Gaddis, lined up. We'll be back after this. Hello, Friday Main Event fans. Mike Motor here, welcoming you to a Thursday night edition of the Friday Main Event. It's first-round playoff action. We've got a lot of big games we want to discuss tonight. We'll do that in the first hour. A lot of games of interest, especially here in the Middle Tennessee area. One of the games of interest is Eagleville traveling to Decatur County, Riverside, and that's one of the coaches we'll have in the second hour. But a lot of big games. Lee Teat and I will cover all the biggest games statewide, all the ones we feel will probably be close all the way through. We're not going to discuss any of the games we expect to be blowouts. We talk big games, but we talk about games that are hard to pick. I mean, anybody can pick the easy games. We do the hard games. So we miss a lot of them, but we have a good time doing it. As long as I do better than Lee, it's all good. Second hour, we'll be doing coaches' interviews. We'll get things started. We'll head over to East Tennessee. We've got Joe Gaddis, head coach at Oak Ridge, joining us at 7 o'clock. 7:15, we go to Eagleville. As I mentioned, we got Floyd Walker, Eagleville's head coach. They got a big game for Friday night. We'll discuss that with him. 7:30, I talked to my good buddy, Independence head coach Scott Blade. Tough matchups over there, Region 5, Region 6 action. We'll discuss that game that he has with Smyrna. That should be a great game. I think that's going to be one of the better 6A games in the state tomorrow night. And then at 7:45, we got a first-time coach. We got head coach Houston Thiele, who is the head coach at Creekwood. We haven't had him on yet. Young guy doing a phenomenal job there in his second season there at Creekwood. So we'll talk with him at 7:45. Great show lined up for you guys for tonight. We hope you enjoy it. As always, we're sponsored by Coach T. Jim Thompson and the folks at CoachT.com have been great to us all season. We appreciate everything he's done for us. You can locate us by going to the scoreboard tab on Coach T each Thursday. Our shows are going to be at Thursday until further notice. That's the plan right now anyway. Go to FridayMainEvent.com, our website. We've got a link right to the show. You can reach us through our website, FridayMainEvent.com, or CoachT.com. So we appreciate you guys tuning in every week, and we plan to do this again next Thursday. We'll probably go all the way through the quarterfinals, take the week off for the semifinals, and then we'll be bringing you coaches' interviews from the state title games in Cookeville there the first week of December. Mike Mulder and Lee Teat, we appreciate you guys, and we'll see you guys again next week. All right, we are back here on the Friday Main Event. We've been talking big games. Lee, we covered all of our picks for the playoffs here in the first round. We're going to roll right into our coaches' interviews, and we got one of the best coaches that I know of, one of the greatest guys I've met, Coach Joe Gaddis over at Oak Ridge. Coach, how you doing? I'm
doing okay. How about you?
We are good, Coach. Getting ready for some playoff football. You guys ready to roll over there?
Well, we better be. We got a game in less than 24 hours, so we don't have any time to do anything else but get ready.
Well, Coach, you guys had another great season, just like last year. Region title came down to you guys in Fulton in that season finale. Unfortunately, you weren't able to get the win this year, but, that's becoming a really good rivalry for you guys with Fulton, isn't it, Coach?
Well, it is. Last year we beat them, I think it was 21-12, and won the region title. This year they beat us 21-13 for the region title. So similar games, close games. The visiting team won each time, which is a little strange, but it was an exciting game down to the wire, but we didn't quite get it done. And congratulations to them.
Mm-hmm. Well, Coach, you guys drew a Ray County team this year in the first round that's lost 4 out of their last 5 games. I think that's kind of uncharacteristic of a Mark Pemberton team. But how did the Golden Eagles look to you on film this week?
Well, I actually was able to go down since we played last Thursday night. I watched them play Cane Ridge in person.
Right.
And then, of course, we've seen a bunch of films on them, too. Mm-hmm. They're a typical Ray County team to me. They're very physical. Their line play up front on both sides of the ball is probably the best we've faced all year. They've lost some games this year by turning the ball over, which is very uncharacteristic of them. They did change offenses. For 8 games, they ran the flex bone.
Right.
They ran the wing tee for years, but they ran the flex bone. And then last week, after a week off, they went to the split back veer. So they didn't have the turnovers last week that they'd been plagued with. And, they played the 6A state runner-up and the undefeated Cane Ridge team, to 21-20 midway in the fourth quarter before Cane Ridge scored a couple times. So they're a good football team, much better than the record indicates, and they're typical Ray County, and they'll present some problems for us because they're just so good up front. Mark Pemberton's son's their quarterback. He's a great quarterback, a really good football player. So we'll have our hands full.
Well, Coach, I know that this is a good Ray County team, kind of like they're under the radar as you mentioned. But I thought, and I know you never look at a loss as a good loss, but I think really losing that game against Fulton really put you guys in the better side of the bracket because now you've got Catholic and Fulton. They got to play each other to get to that third round. So, I think that may have eased the sting a little bit when you think about it in that way, doesn't it, Coach?
Well, not really. Not at all. Because Ray County's staring us in the face, and
right.
That's a huge challenge for us. Their style of play is not one that we face ever. So they present a unique challenge and a unique problem. So I really didn't give any thought to obviously I saw it, but didn't give any thought at all to being on an easy side of the bracket because the fact that Ray County's there refutes that theory in my mind.
We're talking Oak Ridge. Head coach Joe Gaddis here on the Friday main event. Coach, you do go to the air. When you do go to the air, senior Carice Pendergrass, I think he's been the favorite target there. One thing I'm seeing, in all the big stats, you guys is the word senior. There's a lot of seniors on this team. Have you been able to get some of those younger kids some snaps here through the season?
Well, we have, and we're a strange team. Not all of them, but I'm going to say 95% of our up front people on both sides of the ball are either sophomores or juniors, and our skill players are primarily seniors.
Okay.
So we're strange in that way. The guys who touch the ball mostly are seniors, and Kyrie Pendergrass, you're right. He's been our go-to receiver if we have one. He's caught a lot of balls, but yeah, we've got a couple of underclassmen who have run the ball a few times this year.
Well, right, Coach. Speaking of your seniors, we know you get it most of your offense this year is getting it done on the ground with Jordan Graham and your quarterback Booker getting the bulk of those carries. And both those kids obviously are seniors. Can you talk a little bit about them and what they've meant to your team?
Yes, Jordan Graham, he's started now for 4 years in a row. Last year, he was plagued with injuries all year long and wasn't able to play much. But this year, he's back. He's healthy. He's basically his old self. He's very fast. He's not a big kid by any stretch of the imagination. Probably 5'6", 160, but he can flat fly and he can make you miss. He's a really good running back. We throw the ball to him some out of the backfield as well. But he's one of those kids that can really score anytime he touches the ball. Herbert Booker, we're a triple option team, and Herbert is really a magician with the football back there. He really has the great ability to run the option, make you miss. He's got deceptively good speed. He throws the ball well, but he's really a special runner. And he's probably, honestly, a better defensive back than he is anything else. He's intercepted 8 passes this year. He's returned 4 of them for touchdowns. And, we're talking his returns have been 104 yards, 99 yards, 81 yards, and 33 yards. So he's made some huge plays on both sides of the ball for us.
Well, Coach, there's always a kid coming out of spring camp going into your season that you don't expect much out of. But by the end of the season, typically he's become one of your biggest contributors. Who describes that on your Oak Ridge team this year?
Well, we're very undersized, first of all, and I say that because this young man that comes to mind is very small. But in spring practice, we had a young man, Matthew Calhoun, a junior, on defense who played a little linebacker in the spring, but he's played defensive end this year for us and done a heck of a job. He's one of those kids that gets every ounce of ability out of himself. He's really a relentless player, but he's only about, I probably have him in the program 185, 190. I'm a liar. He's more like 175, 180.
You're not the only coach who does that.
But he's a heck of a player and a heck of a competitor.
Good.
Mike Mulder and Lee Teat discussing Wildcat football with head coach Joe Gaddis here on the Friday Main Event. Coach, looking at your defense, I think junior Jacob Adams leads the team in total tackles. He's at almost 100 on the season. You guys look to be, at least when we was looking over stats and everything, look to be a lot lot younger on that side of the ball. I think only a couple of your big contributors are graduating. Do you expect that defense to be the strength of your team heading into next season?
Well, it has been this year.
Okay.
Our defense has they've really done well. They've kept us in every game while our offense has struggled somewhat, especially in the first half of a lot of games. So our defense has led the way this year.
Mm-hmm.
And our defense is a little strange. Like I said, our offense was up front. We were young. Same thing on defense. Up front, we're young. In the secondary, we start 4 seniors. Excuse me, we start 3 seniors and a junior. So
Okay.
we have more experience in the secondary, less experience up front on defense. Jacob Adams, though, has done a great job. He's kind of a throwback linebacker. He's one of those guys that you'd see playing football back in the 60s, 70s, 80s. He's a tough kid.
You need one of those, don't you, Coach?
Yes, you do.
Well, Coach, your old Tullahoma squad over here has had a good regular season this year.
You know, I've kept up with them in recent years and was worried about them, and I was bothered that they weren't, winning many games or they're there for a while, not any. But I'm thrilled to see them bounce back and have such a great year, and hopefully that will carry on through the playoffs. I really think a lot of John Olive, and I love my time in Tullahoma, and hopefully they'll have a great playoff run.
What about T. Higgins?
He's having a heck of a
I
time at Clemson.
was wondering if you'd been able to keep up with him.
I watch him every time I get a chance on Saturday, and I'm sure I'll be watching him on Sundays one of these years.
I think so. I remember, we've had you on with us 3 or 4 years now, and I always enjoy it because you said you found yourself becoming a spectator a lot of times over there on that sideline watching some of those circus catches he came up with. He's fun to watch, isn't he?
He really is. He did it in practice, and they were just unbelievable. He did it in games, and they were unbelievable. And now he's doing it on Saturday afternoon. So he's just a special young man and a great kid too.
Yeah, Coach. We don't have a lot of knowledge of teams over on that east side. Why don't you help us out, man? Any sleepers? Lee and I, we've been picking games here. Any sleepers in any classes that maybe us guys over here in Middle Tennessee don't know about?
Well, I don't really keep up with too many schools outside of 5A, but in 5A, Knox Central is really, really a good football team in Knoxville. They're in Region 2. Mm-hmm. I would expect them to come out of it, although everybody up in Upper East Tennessee says Davy Crockett is really good this year, and I hear they have a great quarterback and a couple of great receivers. So, I don't know about anybody that they play up there, but Central is a really good football team. I see them on the highlights every Friday night after our game.
Well, that makes me feel better. That's actually the team we got coming out of that quad too, so maybe we ain't dumb as we look. Well, Coach, I appreciate you. Coach Gaddis, always enjoyed talking to you, man. Good luck to you guys next week and the rest of the playoffs. Hopefully we can talk to you again real soon.
Thank you. Appreciate the call.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Coach Joe Gaddis, Lee, and Coach Joe Gaddis has won a lot of ball games.
He has.
He's a great guy, and the folks that are watching us from Tullahoma, and they're very familiar with Coach Gaddis. He coached over there back in the 80s. He actually, I believe he told me in an earlier interview, he was the one that actually recommended John Olive when he left Tullahoma. So that's been a good marriage for Tullahoma. Coach Olive's been over there, I think, 26 years now. But Coach Gaddis, a good dude, man. I appreciate him jumping on with us. I think his team's going to do well. I think there's a good possibility it comes down to a rematch between them and Fulton there in the quarterfinals.
I think so.
So, of course, like I told him, they got the Catholic and Fulton on the – I know he's looked at that. He can say what he
said he looked at it.
Yeah, but hey,
listen,
man.
There ain't any coach that wants to lose.
No, you don't want to lose. But that's kind of like I told him. It kind of takes the eases the sting a little bit, knowing that you got the two, your biggest rivalry or your biggest teams that could probably knock you out playing each other. That's good. That's good, Lee. It's good, Lee.
Hey, listen, it's like this. This is how coaches are. If they're flipping quarters, they're going to try to beat you.
Yeah.
They don't care.
They don't like to lose. I know. But sometimes it's a good thing. And I think in this case it was a good thing.
Worked out in his favor.
He would have been playing Catholic in the second round had they won that game.
That's right.
Because Catholic, got upset for the region title. So, Coach Gaddis, it's a good thing, buddy. It's a good thing. Lee, let's take a break and let's get Coach Floyd Walker on the phone. This is the Friday Main Event. I'm Mike Mulder. He is Lee Teat, and we'll be back after this. Hello, Friday Main Event fans. Mike Mulder here, welcoming you to a Thursday night edition of the Friday Main Event. It's first-round playoff action. We've got a lot of big games we want to discuss tonight. We'll do that in the first hour. A lot of games of interest, especially here in the Middle Tennessee area. One of the games of interest is Eagleville traveling to Decatur County, Riverside, and that's one of the coaches we'll have in the second hour. But a lot of big games. Lee Teat and I will cover all the biggest games statewide, all the ones we feel will probably be close all the way through. We're not going to discuss any of the games we expect to be blowouts. We talk big games, but we talk about games that are hard to pick. I mean, anybody can pick the easy games. We do the hard games. So we miss a lot of them, but we have a good time doing it. As long as I do better than Lee, it's all good. Second hour, we'll be doing coaches' interviews. We'll get things started. We'll head over to East Tennessee. We've got Joe Gaddis, head coach at Oak Ridge, joining us at 7 o'clock. 7:15, we go to Eagleville. As I mentioned, we got Floyd Walker, Eagleville's head coach. He got a big game for Friday night. We'll discuss that with him. 7:30, I talked to my good buddy, Independence head coach Scott Blade. Tough matchups over there, Region 5, Region 6 action. We'll discuss that game that he has with Smyrna. That should be a great game. I think that's going to be one of the better 6A games in the state tomorrow night. And then at 7:45, we got a first-time coach. We got head coach Houston Thiele, who is the head coach at Creekwood. We haven't had him on yet. Young guy doing a phenomenal job there in his second season there at Creekwood. So we'll talk with him at 7:45. Great show lined up for you guys for tonight. We hope you enjoy it. As always, we're sponsored by Coach T. Jim Thompson and the folks at CoachT.com have been great to us all season. We appreciate everything he's done for us. You can locate us by going to the scoreboard tab on Coach T each Thursday. Our shows are going to be at Thursday until further notice. That's the plan right now anyway. Go to FridayMainEvent.com, our website. We've got a link right to the show. You can reach us through our website, FridayMainEvent.com, or CoachT.com. So we appreciate you guys tuning in every week. And we plan to do this again next Thursday. We'll probably go all the way through the quarterfinals, take the week off for the semifinals, and then we'll be bringing you coaches' interviews from the state title games in Cookeville there the first week of December. Mike Mulder and Lee Teat, we appreciate you guys, and we'll see you guys again next week. All right, Lee Teat, we are back, Friday Main Event. I was checking my messages during the break. Coach Bradley explained what happened, so I'm going to have time to read it. Apparently, there was a whole lot that happened. It was a pretty long message, but I love that dude, man. He's a great guy, and I'm sure our next coach probably is well aware of Coach Bronson Bradley, and that's Coach Floyd Walker at Eagleville. Coach, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. Yes, sir. Well aware of Bronson. How's he doing?
He's doing good. He's watching us tonight. I think he has a YouTube channel, a Facebook Live show he does every Saturday. So I watch his show.
It's probably something in the weight room too, isn't it?
It probably is. That dude can lift some weights, can't he?
Yes, he can. He's doing a great job down there too.
Yeah, he does. He is. I totally agree with you. Well, Coach, you played at the collegiate level there at MTSU. Now, you've been at Eagleville, I think, since 2010,
yes.
both as an assistant and a head coach the last 3 years. What's the biggest difference, in your opinion, between coaching at that college level and now at the high school level?
Yeah, no, I talk to people about this all the time, and everybody thinks that, college football is different than high school football. But actually, once a game gets kicked off, you kind of lose sight of the venue. Mm-hmm. You couldn't really tell the difference between coaching a high school game or a college game. Mm-hmm. You don't hear much of the crowd. You don't hear the bands. All you know is you're trying to concentrate on what your team is doing versus your opponent. So from that standpoint, it's really not much of a difference.
Coach?
Yes, sir.
Oh, we lost you there for a minute. I think you just through talking. We thought we lost you. Hey, you know what? I'll tell you a funny story. I was playing golf over at Indian Hills a few years back.
Oh, God.
Yeah, hold on now. Now, I hit a really bad tee shot. That ball landed on top of Boots Donnelly's house. Fell off in his yard. I'm going over there to pick the ball up, because I wasn't going to play it out of his yard. Boots said, hell, son, go ahead and play it right there. So I'm hitting a golf ball out of Boots Donnelly's yard. He's a great dude.
Well, he was a lot nicer.
Yeah, I was going to say, what was it like to play for him?
He was a lot nicer to you than it was when I hit one over there.
Oh, you did that too, huh?
Several times. And I've been accused of doing it on purpose.
Oh. Well, how'd you like playing for him?
I absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. And I tell you what, if it wasn't for Coach Donnelly, a lot of us, there's no telling what a lot of us would be. When we played for him, it was tough back, in the early 80s. You didn't understand why you had to wear certain clothes. You had to walk a certain way. You couldn't wear hats in buildings. But what you found out about those were life lessons that he was teaching you. And you talk to anybody that played for him their entire eligibility, and they'll all tell you, hey, we'll do it again in a heartbeat.
Right.
Well, Coach Walker, your team has really ended this season strong, winning 5 of your final 6 ball games.
Yes.
Was the close loss to a solid Lewis County team back in week 4 the turning point for your team?
No, I don't think it was a turning point in our team. We always kind of felt we had a decent football team, and we thought we had a lot of good leaders on it. It was just one of those nights where we felt like Lewis County, which is a great program, year after year after year.
Right.
But we kind of felt like we didn't execute it down the stretch. And we went back to work, and we kind of just felt like if we can just execute, don't have to play great, but just make the plays and do the things that you're supposed to do, that it will help us out going forward. And I think our kids have bought into that.
Well, Coach, your 3 losses this season are to Cornersville, Lewis County, and Columbia Academy. Those 3 teams right there, we think, have a lot of opportunity to make some noise in the playoffs. Do you agree with that?
We hope so. I mean, we're just glad that we got an opportunity to go and see what we can do against people. And it starts with the first one. I know Coach Frost down at Decatur Riverside does a good job, and we got our hands full traveling and going into their place. But we're excited about the opportunity.
We're talking to Eagleville football coach Floyd Walker here on the Friday Main Event. You led right in my next question, partner. I was going to talk about that. I'm looking at the quarterback matchup. Of course, Ethan Cobb, we know he was just nominated again for Mr. Football, and Stone Frost, Coach Frost's son there at Riverside. I think this may be the best quarterback matchup in the first round. Which team you think has the advantage on the just the quarterback matchup?
Well, I'm kind of partial to mine because I've been around him now since he was a 4th or 5th grader, so I've kind of washed him up. So it's kind of like you got me talking about family. So
right.
I'm extremely partial to mine, not only because he's a good football player, but just because he's a great kid too. And I've told people before, and I'm gonna stick with it. If I had to pick a kid to be my quarterback, I'm gonna go with Ethan. So I'm gonna have to say mine.
Has he got any offers yet, Coach?
He has not. I don't understand it. It's like we were talking about earlier about me coaching college football. And I've been on the road recruiting a lot, and if you're doing your job recruiting wise and you're going to places that have a prospect and you sit down and you spend the time evaluating them, there's no way that you can walk out without taking a chance on this kid. He's got the height, he's got the arm, he's got the grades, he's extremely highly competitive. He's everything that you would want in a football player.
Yes,
and that's what he is. He's a football player.
Mm-hmm. Well, Coach, we were talking about Ethan. Last year we came over to your guys' place and watched him, and I was pretty impressed with the size.
Right.
He's a big young man.
He really is.
He is. Now, speaking of him, you guys lost your best receiver last year in Eagleville history with Graham Hatcher to graduation.
Right.
Who's been your most productive receiver this year for Ethan?
Well, it's been by committee. It's been a game to where Avery Sparks may catch 4 or 5 balls. Trevor Griffin may catch 4 or 5 balls. Maurice Stoudemire may catch 4 or 5 balls. We had a young kid named Peyton Lane that came on midway through the season. He's starting to catch some more balls. I think the last ball game we may have had 5, 6 different cats catch 2 or more footballs. So that's been a plus for
us. Coach, defensively, you guys have played, I think, very well here in the second half of the season. Who do you view as leaders for you guys on that side of the ball?
It starts up front. It starts with Logan Moore, Tyler Reed, Grayson McKinney. It starts with with those 3 down linemen in our 50 front, and then it moves to the linebackers: Bryce Lane, Quan Parr, and Wyatt McElmore. I think that they've done a great job of getting better as the season came along. I know we were giving up a lot of rushing yards, and we've steady over the weeks gotten a lot better at doing that. So I told the kids the other night, I'm so pleased with how far we've come defensively, and it's really becoming an enjoyable thing to watch them play on Friday night, because when the ball gets blown dead, that's normally 8, 9, 10 people around the football, which as a football coach, that's what you want.
Absolutely. Mike Motor and Lee T talking to Eagleville head coach Floyd Walker here on the Friday Main Event.
Well, Coach Walker, in the last segment, we talked to Coach Gaddis up at Oak Ridge about this particular subject. There's always seems to be one kid that you didn't really expect a lot out of heading into the season. But at this point in the season, when those Friday night lights come on, he's showing up.
Right.
What kid would describe that on your Eagleville team?
It has to be a young man named Grayson McKinney. We call him Flapjack.
That's awesome. Nickname.
Flapjack's been with us for 3 years and never, ever really contributed. And we moved him to a defensive tackle or offensive lineman, and he's exceeded our expectations. He went from a kid that wasn't on the radar to a starting defensive lineman for us right now. And so for that kid and the success that he's had, I'm so happy for him. I'm happy for his family and all the kids. The kids love it that he's actually being a part and his name is being called over the loudspeakers on Friday night.
Are you going to lose any kids when this Rockville school opens up? Any of them going to get rezoned over to Rockville?
Well, I know right now some numbers came out about how they were going to do the rezoning. That we were going, we've got some kids that are dual zone that's going to end up being zoned over to Rockville, and I think it's going to affect our numbers.
I bet.
Some.
Yeah.
I don't know how much. I don't think anybody fully knows how it's going to affect us, and we probably won't know that until we open up our doors in August.
Gotcha. Well, Coach Walker, buddy, we really appreciate you jumping on and talking to Lee and I here on the Friday Main Event, man. We wish you a lot of luck tomorrow night. We'll be pulling for you over here in Unionville, Tennessee.
I appreciate it.
Hope you guys go up there and represent, and hopefully we can talk to you again before the season's up.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it. And I appreciate you guys having me on and giving us a chance to talk about Eagleville football.
Yes, sir, Coach. Good luck to you, buddy.
Thank you.
All right, Lee. That's Floyd Walker, Eagleville head coach. I think he got a kick out of that Boots Donnelly story, didn't he? He's a good dude, man. We went over there for that Forest game last year, if you'll remember, and he's done a great job there.
But he's intense.
He is, isn't he?
Remember him getting that referee?
Boy, I felt sorry for him, man. But yeah,
he's intense.
He is. Well, Lee, let's go ahead and take another break here now, so we can go ahead and get Scott Blade, Independence head coach, on with us. Friday Main Event. We'll be back after this. Hello, Friday Main Event fans. Mike Motor here, welcoming you to a Thursday night edition of the Friday Main Event. It's first round playoff action. We've got a lot of big games we want to discuss tonight. We'll do that in the first hour. A lot of games of interest, especially here in the Middle Tennessee area. One of the games of interest is Eagleville traveling to Decatur County, Riverside, and that's one of the coaches we'll have in the second hour. But a lot of big games. Lee Teaton and I will cover all the biggest games statewide all the ones we feel will probably be close all the way through. We're not going to discuss any of the games we expect to be blowouts. We talk big games, but we talk about games that are hard to pick. I mean, anybody can pick the easy games. We do the hard games. So we miss a lot of them, but we have a good time doing it. As long as I do better than Lee, it's all good. Second hour, we'll be doing coaches' interviews. We'll get things started. We'll head over to East Tennessee. We've got Joe Gaddis, head coach at Oak Ridge, joining us at 7 o'clock. 7:15, we go to Eagleville. As I mentioned, we got Floyd Walker, Eagleville's head coach. They got a big game for Friday night. We'll discuss that with him. 7:30, I talked to my good buddy, Independence head coach Scott Blade. Tough matchups over there, Region 5, Region 6 action. We'll discuss that game that he has with Smyrna. That should be a great game. I think that's going to be one of the better 6A games in the state tomorrow night. And then at 7:45, we got a first-time coach. We got head coach Houston Thiele, who is the head coach at Creekwood. We haven't had him on yet. Young guy doing a phenomenal job there in his second season there at Creekwood. So we'll talk with him at 7:45. Great show lined up for you guys for tonight. We hope you enjoy it. As always, we're sponsored by Coach T. Jim Thompson and the folks at CoachT.com have been great to us all season. We appreciate everything he's done for us. You can locate us by going to the scoreboard tab on Coach T each Thursday. Our shows are going to be at Thursday until further notice. That's the plan right now anyway. Go to FridayMainEvent.com, our website. We've got a link right to the show. You can reach us through our website, FridayMainEvent.com, or CoachT.com. So we appreciate you guys tuning in every week, and we plan to do this again next Thursday. We'll probably go all the way through the quarterfinals, take the week off for the semifinals, and then we'll be bringing you coaches' interviews from the state title games in Cookeville there the first week of December. Mike Mulder and Lee Teat, we appreciate you guys, and we'll see you guys again next week. All right, Lee Teat, we're back here on the Friday main event. We were talking big games first hour. Second hour, we got coaches' interviews. We've had Coach Joe Gaddis on with us. We had Eagleville head coach Floyd Walker on with us. We're going to roll up to 6A now. Got a good friend of ours, a good friend of the show, Coach Scott Blade at Independence. Coach, how you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me, Mike.
Appreciate it.
Well, Coach, to use some racing terms, qualifying's over, and now it's time for the feature event. How healthy are the Eagles headed into this postseason?
Yeah, I think we're relatively healthy. It's obviously been a long year and a tough year, but going into the playoffs, we're about as healthy as we could be at this point.
Right.
Well, Coach, I got to see a little bit of that game against Ravenwood. Of course, region title was on the line. I wasn't expecting that already. I think you guys, you got yourself in a hole early is what it seemed to me. I think you may have had some special teams mistakes. I guess, you had to be happy with how you kids battled back in the second half anyway, right, Coach?
Well, we had started off the season 1-3, brutal schedule at the beginning, brutal schedule at the middle, brutal's eased up a little at the end until we got to Ravenwood. And so our kids battled all year to get to a chance where we were playing for the region championship last Friday. And we just did not play well at all. We never got in groove offensively. D just really played poorly in every facet of the game, to be quite honest. So that was a kind of a shock. And that's one of the things as a coach, you prepare, and then, what happens in the white lines is sometimes between the white lines is sometimes, your guess is as good as mine. So it was one of those nights where it was unexpected, the way how poorly we played. We're hoping to bounce back this week against a good Smyrna team and try and get some steam here, moving on.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, Lee and I picked you guys to win last week too, so it was a shocker to us also. But you mentioned it, though, Coach. You guys a rematch of last year's first-round game with Smyrna. I think Lee and I were at that game last year. Probably one of the better first-round games, I think,
Yeah.
one-point game. How do you feel this Smyrna team that you guys are going to face tomorrow night match up against the Smyrna team you had last year? What changes is there between the two teams?
You know what? Not a lot. They're really the Smyrna. You know, we've played them. This will be the fourth time in the last 4 years, and they're really, you know, Coach Williams does a great job with his guys, and they really want to make their statement running the ball in between the tackles, power football, and just enough RPO type of stuff, and
right.
You know, passing game to keep you honest. But they definitely want to keep it between the tackles. They got a terrific running back, a terrific offensive line, and you know, we know that's the game plan. And we also know that that's been our Achilles heel on defense. We have not done a great job of inside the tackles this year. So we got a huge challenge there. If we can't slow them down, it'll be a long night. But if we can, you know, and capitalize, get our offense back from where it had been for the last probably 6 weeks until we got to last week. If we can get that back on track, we should make it a good game.
Well, Coach Blade, both Nathan Cisco and Ethan Cash have taken snaps this year for you. Who do you expect to start against Smyrna, and should we expect to see them both in that ball game?
Yeah, we're probably going to start Ethan Cash, but we're going to, you know, you can expect to see them both. Okay. You know, we have, you know, the quarterback in our offense. When our offense is really clicking, that quarterback is so valuable, and really everything runs through him. We like to throw first and run second. That's no misnomer out there. Right. A lot of teams, you know, it's the opposite. We like to throw to keep and run to keep them off balance. People like to run and throw to keep off balance, teams off balance. So we're a little bit opposite there. So we got to find the quarterback that's got the hot hand this late in the year. And for a while there, it was Ethan, but Nathan's come in at times and done just fine. And so we'll have to see, you know, what tomorrow, who's got the hot hand, so to speak.
Right. We're discussing Eagle football here with Independence head coach Scott Blade here on the Friday Main Event. Coach Blade, T.J. Sheffield, he's a marquee name entering the season for the Eagles team. Of course, his bookend, Kendall Scurry, transferred to Page. Luckily for you guys, you really haven't missed a beat as Isaiah Collier more than equaled his production. I think he got 1,200 receiving yards, 9 TDs. How important has he been to your team this year?
Isaiah's been extremely important, and the Hillsborough game was an example where Isaiah was out with a concussion, and TJ was, that you're able to double cover TJ and single cover the rest of the receivers and bring 6 people the whole time. I mean, it's bad matchups. Right. Isaiah makes the defense be even more balanced. If you want to double TJ, that's perfectly okay. You don't want to single cover Isaiah.
Right.
And now we've got the Chase Bishop transferred in, and he's another Division I receiver that gives us even more balance. That's where it goes back to quarterback. Everything's got to be in sync. We got to get the snap, got to get the play off, but we got guys that are pretty exciting to watch if we can get them the ball.
Right.
If we can't, like last week, we never could get into rhythm of anything. It was unfortunate. And it was like I said, it was a little bit of a shock to us as coaches and probably fans alike. But if we can get that back going, or we get some sort of rhythm and get the quarterback in some sort of comfort zone, we do have 3 guys that can really flip the switch, on any time they touch the ball.
Well, Coach, as you spoke of earlier, you guys don't run the ball a lot, but when you do, your seniors Kobe Logan and Tyrus Jackson get most of those carries. Can you speak on those 2?
Yeah, no. Kobe Logan, broke his wrist during the Brentwood game about a month ago, so he hasn't really carried the ball since. Tyrus Jackson has been the workhorse there, and he's done a great job because he's also our starting middle linebacker.
Right.
He doesn't come off the field a whole lot. He's probably the one guy doesn't come off hardly at all down the stretch here. And we try and when we do a little jet sweep action with our receivers to get them on the perimeter.
Right.
But if we're going to pound it inside, it's Tyrus, and he's done a great job. Like I said, down the stretch, it's because he hasn't come off the field a whole lot.
Right.
Well, Coach, we were at your first game there against Oakland, and I don't really. Well,
another nightmarish.
Yeah. Well, I thought really, and I think you'd probably agree to an extent. I think really you were outmatched up front was probably the biggest thing. Is your O-line, have they gelled a little bit over the season?
You know what? I mean, they have, but I don't think anybody matches up really well with Oakland defense. I mean, all across the board, we were overmatched all across the board there, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
The offensive line has gotten better. I think, that's a process too, because it's we see some different looks, and we see. Typically people, when we are throwing the ball real well, they're going to either send a bunch, which is hard, or they're going to drop a bunch. And somewhere in between is where we usually find success. I mean, it's hard to, pick up 6 guys with 5 guys and a running back. Then, I just think they're doing it. They're doing a good job. They're working hard. They're getting better. They need to have a great job, a great night tomorrow, because I think the defensive front and the offensive front for Smyrna is definitely their bread and butter. Those are some big guys, some physical guys. They bring the heat. They do a good job with what they're doing up front.
Coach Blade, we talked to the other coaches tonight that we've had on earlier, and there's always one kid in the spring that you don't really expect to do a whole lot, but when the lights come on Friday nights and you're down this deep into the season, they start showing up. What kid fits that description on your squad?
Yeah, it's probably been Isaiah Collier,
mm-hmm.
a guy that's just had a terrific year. TJ makes the semifinalists as a Mr. Tennessee and has 1,240-something yards receiving, which is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. But right behind him, and less than 100 yards behind him is, in 9 games, is Isaiah Collier.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a guy that if he's not 2 inches taller, he's got every offer out there.
Right.
He's a super fast, super quick kid, super competitive, and a guy that had a decent year last year, but has really come on to be, a top receiver in the state, and really productive, both as a guy running the ball. We use him on our jet sweeps as well as a guy catching and returning it. He's returned the opening kickoff against CPA. And he's a guy that can do it all. So he's one of those guys that you're right. Every year somebody comes out of the woodworks and really does special things. I think he's been that guy that has really exceeded some expectations for sure.
Well, Coach, we had you on with us over there in that jamboree, and we talked to you about former quarterback Andrew Bunch. And I think he actually made the first start for a walk-on quarterback in 20 years there at Nebraska.
Yeah.
Have you been able to follow his progress this year?
I have, and he started against Troy
mm-hmm.
The second week of the year. Played a little bit against Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Nebraska's had a rough year this year, and I think they've won a couple here recently. But he's doing well. He's just a kid that going to compete, going to grind it out.
Mm-hmm.
Going to keep working no matter what the scenario is, and we're proud of him. We're excited to see him on TV and playing in front of 100,000 people, those big time stadiums that a lot of the kids dream of doing, and he got to do it. So, we're real proud of him.
Yeah, Lee and I really enjoyed that title game he won for you guys a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good ball player.
Yeah.
Well, Coach Blade, man, I appreciate you jumping on with us. I think I'm going to head over tomorrow night, man. I've got that Smyrna Independence game on my list. I think that's probably the one I'm going to wind up at. So I'll holler at you if I get over there.
All right, sounds good. It should be a good one.
Yes, sir. Well, Coach, we appreciate it, buddy, and good luck to you tomorrow night.
Okay, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, bye-bye.
All right. Mr. Teat, Scott Blade, Independence, is one state titles with multiple programs. There's not a lot of guys in the state that have done that.
That's right. You know, we've talked about it before. I really enjoyed our interview early in the season when we got to sit down and just kind of a nonchalant,
not scripted
talk with him.
Yeah. If I was a little bit smarter, we'd do that every week.
Very interested, a very interesting guy, a very interesting take on the game.
Yeah.
And it shows.
Yeah,
it shows.
All right, Mr. Teat, let's take our final break here, and we'll get Creekwood head coach Houston Thiele on with us. This is a Friday main event. I am Mike Mulder, and he is Lee Teat, and this is a Friday main event, and we'll be back after this. Hello, Friday main event fans. Mike Mulder here, welcoming you to a Thursday night edition of the Friday main event. It's first round playoff action. We've got a lot of big games we want to discuss tonight. We'll do that in the first hour. A lot of games of interest, especially here in the Middle Tennessee area. One of the games of interest is Eagleville traveling to Decatur County Riverside, and that's one of the coaches we'll have in the second hour. But a lot of big games. Lee Teat and I will cover all the biggest games statewide, all the ones we feel will probably be close all the way through. We're not going to discuss any of the games we expect to be blowouts. We talk big games, but we talk about games that are hard to pick. I mean, anybody can pick the easy games. We do the hard games. So we miss a lot of them, but we have a good time doing it. As long as I do better than Lee, it's all good. Second hour, we'll be doing coaches' interviews. We'll get things started. We'll head over to East Tennessee. We've got Joe Gaddis, head coach at Oak Ridge, joining us at 7 o'clock. 7:15, we go to Eagleville. As I mentioned, we got Floyd Walker, Eagleville's head coach. They got a big game for Friday night. We'll discuss that with him. 7:30, I talked to my good buddy, Independence head coach Scott Blade. Tough matchups over there, Region 5, Region 6 action. We'll discuss that game that he has with Smyrna. That should be a great game. I think that's going to be one of the better 6A games in the state tomorrow night. And then at 7:45, we got a first-time coach. We got head coach Houston Thiele, who is the head coach at Creekwood. We haven't had him on yet. Young guy doing a phenomenal job there in his second season there at Creekwood. So we'll talk with him at 7:45. Great show lined up for you guys for tonight. We hope you enjoy it. As always, we're sponsored by Coach T. Jim Thompson and the folks at CoachT.com have been great to us all season. We appreciate everything he's done for us. You can locate us by going to the scoreboard tab on Coach T each Thursday. Our shows are going to be at Thursday until further notice. That's the plan right now anyway. Go to FridayMainEvent.com, our website. We've got a link right to the show. You can reach us through our website, FridayMainEvent.com, or CoachT.com. So we appreciate you guys tuning in every week, and we plan to do this again next Thursday. We'll probably go all the way through the quarterfinals, take the week off of the semifinals, and then we'll be bringing you coaches' interviews from the state title games in Cookeville there the first week of December. Mike Mulder and Lee Teat, we appreciate you guys, and we'll see you guys again next week. All right, Lee, we are back here on the Friday main event, final segment tonight. We've had some great coaches on. We've had some good game discussion about 1A games, first round games.
Right.
And, of course, we began the coaches' interviews with Joe Gaddis at Oak Ridge. We had Floyd Walker at Eagleville. We just got off the phone with Scott Blade at Independence. We got a newcomer to the Friday main event. We got Creekwood head coach, Coach Thiele, on with us. Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing well, guys. Thanks for having me. I'm not sure I belong in that list, guys, but I'm glad to be on the show.
Hey, but you're young, man, so you got plenty of time to earn your way into that list.
Yeah, let's hope so, man. That's a lot of good coaches on that.
Now, speaking of young, I think you graduated 2006 there at Creekwood. So you were playing varsity football, I think, until 2000. In 2003, the last time you guys won a playoff game. Your senior year, you led the team in the playoffs. Actually, that was your senior year. You guys beat Jackson Southside, correct?
Yeah, that is correct. I'm actually a 2006 graduate. Last football season would have been 2005.
Okay,
Creekwood actually opened up in 2002, and so I was my senior class was the first group that went all 4 years. That first year, I think we played a JV schedule and played some schools that were also opening up around the same time. Station Camp, Pope John Paul. We would play them twice in the season, and then we fit into the classification cycle the next year. And then, made the playoffs for the first time in 2005, actually finished second in a really tough region. That was Region 5 3A at the time, had Cheatham County, Montgomery Central, Lipscomb, Marshall, Giles County, Page, tough region, but finished second that year and got to host a home playoff game for a 4-year-old school and played Jackson Southside and won by a couple touchdowns and made it to round 2 and had to go down to Lexington.
Well, Lee, I feel like I'm at Nissan. I'm a 51-year-old man, and I work with a guy the same age as Coach Thiele, and he proved me wrong in about 30 seconds. I had all them numbers wrong. I feel like I'm at Nissan.
Hey, I've lived it, guys, so I should know the numbers.
I'm just kidding with you, Coach. I wanted you to get it right. I think, I was off by a year on everything I said, I think, but I appreciate you straightening me out. Well, hey, man, I guess you're 30-ish then if you graduated 2006. I guess you were pretty surprised, I would assume, getting your dream job when it came open last year, wasn't you?
Yeah, it was certainly you call it a dream job, and that's what it was for me. It was just right time, right situation, right guy, I felt like. And, the program had been under the leadership of my high school coach, Chuck Daniel, which had done some really good things building the program up. And he had decided to step away from coaching. And then Coach Justin Palmer, which now is at Shelbyville, come in for a year and, got a chance to go back to Shelbyville, a place that he was really really enjoyed being at, So It just come at a bad time for Creekwood's sake, but you understand when guys make those moves. But it was just one of those things that I'd been around the program, been teaching and coaching at the feeder program or one of the feeder programs at the local middle school, and it was just I felt like when I went in and went through the interview process, those the people that made those decisions just they felt my passion for the job and knew that I had the drive to get this program where we feel like it should be.
Mm-hmm. Well, Coach, you guys did reach the playoffs in your first season as a head coach last year, and you've got almost all those starters back this season. How much did this bunch learn from your early exit in the playoffs last year?
Well, I think we had to go down to Lexington last year, and we started, I think, 18 sophomores down there that night, and it was just Lexington had a really good ball club, and it really propelled us into our off-season weight program more than anything because we felt like we just got down there and we were outmatched physically, and it was just due to the youth of our team, and those guys kind of saw where they needed to be, especially on the offensive and defensive line. Mm-hmm. So I think, we obviously learned stuff, and I hope that experience from playing in that type of atmosphere will help us tomorrow night. But more than anything, it just kind of showed us where we needed to be at if we really wanted to compete.
Well, Coach, we mentioned that Jackson Southside game tomorrow night. I think the Hawks were undefeated heading into last week when they fell to Northside for that region title. Now, this is a veteran squad, much like you guys. They reached the quarterfinals last year. How do you feel your Red Hawk squad matches up against this Southside squad?
Southside, Coach Reeder down there, he does a fantastic job. Also in a kind of a rebuilding position as well, and it has done a great job of turning that team around. That I believe a couple years ago was a 1-9 team. But I feel like tomorrow night it's going to be a old school type football game. It's going to be two teams that like to run the football, and I just think that it really is, and it's not just coaching speak. The team that goes down there and doesn't turn the ball over and makes the fewest mistakes is going to win that ball game just because of the style of play that both teams have.
We're joined by phone with Creekwood head coach Houston Thiele here on the Friday main event.
Well, Coach, I know you guys don't put the ball in the air very often, and Garrett Stansberry and Sam Askins are two of your main ball carriers. Who else has been a key for you guys from the skill positions?
Well, we've kind of been in a unique situation all year long. We started off, we returned our quarterback from last year, Timmy Randolph, and he was a guy that, started every single game as a junior for us. Mm-hmm. We're in our first preseason scrimmage at Spring Hill, and third play of the game, he breaks his collar. Third play of the game, he breaks his collarbone. So we're down our returning starting quarterback that's a senior. So we get our next kid up, which is a sophomore, Elijah Donaldson. We really like that. We really like him. We get him ready for the week 1 game, which is a big rival game for us in playing Dixon County. Second series of the game, he breaks his collarbone.
Oh, no.
So we have played our entire season with what we deem as our third string quarterback. Now, he's a player. His name's Mitch Duke. He was a running back for us last year and strong safety, and he's just kind of the next best athlete.
Right.
So we've just kind of had to survive, kind of adapt our offense a little bit. And that's the reason that, you don't see the numbers that in the air, I guess you would say. And it's just because that's not, you got to mold your team to what you got. And, he's done a really good job for us running the triple option. We have Danny Stansberry and Garrett Stansberry, both tailbacks for us. Garrett being a senior and Danny being a junior. Danny plays our fullback spot, but he's a guy that has had really big games, had a really big game last week against Springfield. And kind of our offense goes how Danny goes. And you mentioned Sam Askins. He's another home run type guy that had a lot of success for us last year and has kind of kept that ball rolling this year.
Well, Coach, I think I read in an article that you basically said the heart and soul of that team is the line, your O-line. I think you said when you guys execute up front, the team's tough to stop. How do you feel you guys match up, up front with this Southside team?
I think Southside, they run a 3-4 defense, and they bring guys all the time. So if our O-line will communicate, which that's where we have so much success, is just the communication amongst that group, returning all 5 starters from last year, and they've played together. They know their assignments. They're able to talk to one another. But being able to pick up and making sure we're getting on the right guy tomorrow night will be really big for us. I think physically we match up really well against them. It's just a matter of executing and playing your assignments.
Coach, defense played well the second half of the season, and you guys were only down, I think, 23-18 after 3 quarters last week against Springfield. What happened in the fourth quarter of that ball game?
Well, I'm sure you guys have seen Springfield play, so it doesn't take long for them to get points on the scoreboard, and when you turn the football over and give them a short field, it doesn't help anything. But
I got you.
That's a game that's 23-18 at halftime. No scores during the third quarter, and we're right there, and we feel like if we're a play or two away. But Springfield is just they're a really, really good football team. Coach Wilson over there, he does a really good job, and they've got some kids that that I don't know if I could 2-hand touch inside a car. They can move around.
That's good.
That's
I'm going to use that one. I like that. Well, Coach, Lee and I really appreciate you jumping on with us, man. We wish you luck. We hope you'll do this again with us sometime.
Yeah, good talking to you guys. Y'all keep the number, and I'll be happy to talk anytime.
Sounds good.
All
Good
right,
luck
Coach.
to you tomorrow night, Coach.
We appreciate it.
Hey, Lee and I did pick you, by the way. We're just letting you know.
That ought to be worth something, right?
No pressure.
Let you guys down, okay?
Yeah, no pressure,
No
Coach.
pressure or anything.
Yes, sir.
All right, buddy.
We'll see you, Coach. Thanks, buddy.
Yes, sir.
All right, Lee. Well, I like him. We're going to have to dial him back up.
Sure can.
He's spot on, man. He sounds to be seems to be a pretty sharp young guy.
Well, I like those. We like those young coaches.
He corrected me right off the bat, man. I felt like I was at work. I got all them millennials at work. They want to pick on the old guy and correct him all the time.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I did. I had his dates wrong, so that's good. That's good.
Well, like he said, he lived it. We didn't.
That's right.
You
He
know?
lived it. And that would be a great story, though, man. The last playoff victory for Creekwood was against Jackson Southside.
That's right.
With him as the starting quarterback. So now with him as the coach,
maybe they
12 years later, that'd be a pretty cool story.
Yep. You listening, Donovan? That'd be a good story.
There you
for
go, Donovan. We're trying to hook you up, brother. But Lee, we're out of time, man. It's been a good show. We
Has been.
appreciate all the Friday Main Event followers checking us out, man. Hanging with us all year. We hope we're giving you a good product.
Well, this is the fun time.
Yeah.
We're getting into the nitty-gritty now.
This is a fun time. We should be getting our passes to the state title here in the next couple of weeks, Lee. I'm really looking forward to that. Got my hotel room booked. We're set to go for that.
The game atmospheres are going to be more tense,
Awesome.
Awesome,
yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready.
I'm ready. Well, Lee, I guess we're going to get on out here, brother. You got anything else?
I'm good, man.
You going to be at?
I'm probably going to go check out Blackman and Lebanon. It's just right down the street there at Blackman.
Tomorrow night.
So I'm going to go
look
check
Lee
that
up.
out.
He'll have his Friday Main Event attire on.
That's
Look
right.
him up. Holler at him. Let him know if you listen to the. I know some Blaze 45 on Coach T. He's a regular watcher. He'll probably look you up. He moved my car over there last year, if you remember. I was
that.
double parked, so he moved the car. So
Kept you from getting a ticket.
he'll probably holler at you. But I'll be at Independence in Smyrna. Same thing. I'll have some Friday Main Event stuff on. Come up and holler at us. Let us know that you enjoy the show. And we like talking high school football. So
That's right.
come on up and give us a shout. Thumbs up at the bottom. Friday Main Event YouTube. We need thumbs up. We really need the subscribers. And don't be afraid to share this and tell friends and family to subscribe.
That's right.
Don't you agree, Lee?
Sure.
We're not asking a whole lot.
No. We're easy, man.
We're easy. We're easy. All right, Lee. This has been the Friday Main Event. I am Mike Mulder. He is Lee Teat. We'll be back next Thursday at 6 o'clock. Right, Lee?
Sounds good.
Or do you want to go? Do you want to go Fridays?
I'm good.
You're good. All right. Well, Lee's good. I'm good. Friday Main Event. Mike Mulder, Lee Teat. We are out of here.